Hello, friends, and welcome to the new episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady. Today we have 3 great news stories, so I hope you've already subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. Let's get started. Hey, if you're not on the clock right now, don't tell us what to do. I had just moved to a new neighborhood in my city, so I decided to wander through a few bars to scope out the best places. After reaching a small, quiet, comfortable bar, I decided to take a seat, read a book, and sip on some wine. Plus, it was 6 p.m., so I caught happy hour. The bartender, Meg, was really sweet, and we had a few quick conversations about the book I was reading. Not too long after I arrived, 2 women and 2 men walked in, all probably late 20s, all dressed pretty nice. They sat at a table a fair distance away from me, placed their order, and began what I could only describe as a loud, ignorant, public display of entitlement. Within the next half hour, the table repeatedly called for the bartender, Meg, from across the room while clapping their hands for her, as you would for a dog. Loudly told the bartender, "Your drinks suck. Are you making them bad on purpose because you don't want us here? Haha, just kidding, but make them stronger." Played a drinking game that involved slamming their hands down on a table in a rhythm kind of mimicking a tribal drum ceremony. Attempted to grab the bartender by the waist, telling her that she's too pretty to be frowning all the time, and yelled, "Woo!" every 5 minutes. Mind you, I'm actually a bartender myself. I've encountered my fair share of crap customers and have witnessed crap customers while out at other bars, but I generally avoid confrontation at all costs, especially since arguing with drunk people is never a good idea. However, these people pressed my nerves so hard I couldn't stay silent. I rehearsed what to say to the group a few times over in my head, waited until Meg went to the kitchen, and walked up to the table. My delivery wasn't as clean as I'd hoped, but I started my speech. "Hi, I just wanted to start by saying this is the first time I've been in this bar. With that being said, I'm pretty sure your behavior does not belong here. You're bothering everyone else, you're bothering me, and I bet you're bothering Meg based on the way you're treating her. So, don't treat people like that." Silence. "So, yeah, please keep it down, and please start treating your bartender better. Thanks." I turned to go sit down at my table. I had a shaky feeling that you get when you've stepped out of your boundaries and felt my face getting hot. I was glad I did the right thing. At this point, you're probably all wondering, hey, this post doesn't belong in this sub. No one has said IDWHL, I assure you. The wait is no longer. I heard one of the guys' voice pipe up. "Hey, if you're not on the clock right now, don't tell us what to do." I turned around, justifiably confused. "Wait, what? If you're not working right now, then back off and mind your own business. You shouldn't talk to customers like that. Go somewhere else after you get off your shift if you don't like the customers." I'll add here that the rest of the table now seemed really embarrassed and just as confused as me, and were avoiding eye contact at all costs. This one man, however, dressed in a suit, young, attractive, but in a douchey way, is laser focused on me. I told you this is the first time I've been at this bar. I don't work here. I just think you're being rude. Please stop." "Oh, come on. You knew Meg's name. You two are all chummy over there. She probably put you up to this." At this point, my shaking feeling was being replaced with pure anger over this guy's pure stupidity. I got a burst of confidence. "Listen, I don't work here. I'm actually a bartender at another bar. But even if I did work here, it wouldn't matter. You guys are being a-holes and need to knock it off. So stop yelling and be nicer to your bartender." "No, you just don't want to get in trouble by your manager for being rude to customers. Where's your manager?" "My manager's in another part of this city because I don't work here, moron. Look, it's clear your friends agree with me. They're obviously embarrassed by you right now. The conversation is over. F off." I returned to my seat, felt that hot, flustered feeling creeping back, and decided to quickly put cash on the bar that I knew would cover my bill, gather my things, and leave. All the while, this guy is loudly talking crap on me to his silent friends. I had never started a verbal confrontation with a stranger before, and hated the feeling. I just wanted to be away from the situation. I got home and thought about the confrontation for the rest of the night. Did things escalate when I left? Did I end up making things worse for the bartender? Oh no, would I be allowed back? The next day, I decided to return to the bar to see if Meg was working and to apologize for potentially making things worse. Luckily, she was working. Meg ran up to me and gave me the biggest hug the minute she saw me. Oh my God, you're like a superhero. Thank you so much for yesterday. Those people were so horrible to me, and I was 2 seconds away from crying before you walked up to them. Oh, wow, well, good. They were a-holes, but seriously, it was no problem. What happened when I left? Well, the guy you talked to at the end was effing crazy. He kept insisting I tell him your name and to get my manager so he could file a formal complaint about you. And even though I kept insisting that you were just a customer, he would not listen. He actually accused me of putting you up to it. But at that point, his friends were already dragging him out of the bar. One of the girls actually tipped me, like 100%. They apologized and were really embarrassed, but that guy was nuts. So a year later, Meg and I are really tight, and I always get 20% off my bill. Worked out for me. And our second story. I work here, not there. Years ago, I worked at a big department store in the marketing department. We just had a big layoff, and the department was reduced from 24 people to 6. In general, about 300 people lost their job that week, so the mood could have been better. One result was that we had to move office. We just had too much space, but as the company was losing money, we were going to help a lot with the move. A moving company had to be hired to do the heavy lifting. So far, so good. So the first coming Friday was moving day, and I was dressed casually, jeans, t-shirt, fleece jacket, because, dirt and manual labor. Note, I'm a big bald dude in a department consisting mostly of women. Everything went well until a few hours in. I was standing in our new offices, chatting with a few of my female coworkers, when a small, well-dressed man I'd never seen before walked by us. Typical upper management. He stopped, turned around, and pointed to a small stack of garbage bags lying close to where I was standing. He took a few steps closer to me, made it easy to see his face getting more and more red with anger. Me is me, angry vice CEO is AV CEO. AV CEO. Didn't I already tell you people to remove those garbage bags? Me. I'm sorry, I was not told by my boss. I answered, not exactly sure who he was, but trying to be polite. You never know. And beside my boss, the marketing director has mentioned nothing of the kind. AV CEO. Well, I did tell your boss to remove the garbage bags. Get them out of here now. All done in this very aggressive stance with his anger steaming from him. He turned around and stomped out, clearly in control of this, at least in his mind. I looked confused at my coworkers that were laughing so hard and told me he was the new vice CEO and started a couple days before. Someone suggested that he thought I was from the moving company. We laughed a bit and went on to move the rest of our stuff to our new office. An hour later, after I came down with another load of office stuff, a very angry voice suddenly disturbed my fatigue. AV CEO. Didn't I tell you to remove the garbage bags? It's hard to understand or... Startled and surprised, I tried to explain the situation, but was not able to get a word in. My coworkers were busy looking away and trying not to laugh. At one point, I just realized I could not win this and took it all in and said, "Yes, sir. Sure thing, sir." It became so bad that my coworkers stopped laughing and were more than a bit shaken up. Nothing serious, just like WTF. And again, he stomped off and yelled, "I'm going to find your boss and tell him about you." I was feeling a bit sorry for the boss from the moving company that was in for it, but oh well. We had a quick talk about it between ourselves and agreed it was best that I keep to our old office. I did some cleanup, and the rest of the day was nice and calm. Next Monday morning was the first day in our new office, and we started the day with a department meeting around a table in our open kitchen area. We had a bit of breakfast and was generally having a good time. I was sitting with my back toward the open area behind me when I heard the door behind me open. The marketing boss casually said hi to the person that entered and said, "I don't think any of you have met my team." He then proceeded to introduce us. You could see he was not paying a lot of attention to us minions around the table, but nodded politely, and suddenly it was my turn to be introduced. Marketing director says, "And this is Caldrew. I hear you two have met already." He looked at me once, a bit confused. Then his eyes went a bit wide, and you could see him remember me. Then the humiliation started to show in his face. Politeness deemed his said hi, a very short hi. Then he fled the office, and when he was safely out of the office, a big laughter went up. Good times. So yeah, boss man, I work here, not there. And the third story. I don't work here, lady. Disneyland edition. So me and my girlfriend took a trip to Disneyland Paris a few years ago as our first holiday together. We were having an awesome time in the parks, etc., but one day was incredibly busy, so we decided instead of queuing hours for rides, we would do some souvenir shopping instead for a bit. So we're in a store in Disneyland browsing various mugs, fridge magnets, plush toys, the general overpriced stuff, when a sweet English woman asked me if I could help her across the store. As I'm a tall guy, 6'4", I said, "Yeah, that's fine. I get it at home in supermarkets all the time, so it's no biggie." Turns out her daughter wanted a specific Winnie the Pooh toy that was at the top of a huge pile of plushes. I gladly grabbed it down for her and gave it to the little girl who was over the moon. This is where things got strange. A fairly young French lady moved over to me chatting in French and gesturing at a shelf with some glasses on it. I speak a tiny bit of French, but definitely not enough to know what she wanted. So I politely told her I speak English and I'm not an employee. I was wearing jeans and a wine-colored hoodie, which is not even remotely close to Disney cast member uniforms. The French lady stormed off, and I thought that was that. I went and found my GF, and we were looking at some gift ideas for our families, when right behind me I heard a woman say, "This is him," in English but with a French accent. I turned around to see the aforementioned French lady who had dragged an actual employee over to me to give us scolding. Her accent was very heavy, but she said something along the lines of, "He helped someone, but not me. Workers should be trained better." The actual Disney employee immediately could see I was a guest at the park, apologized, and led the woman away. All we could hear from the other side of the store was the French lady shouting and getting very irate. I assumed she was removed from the store. Anyway, me and my girlfriend took a couple of Minnie and Mickey Mouse mugs to the register to pay for, and the employee who sorted the situation was on the next register and said, "Please wait there." She toddled off and came back a couple minutes later with a stuffed Luke Skywalker Mickey Mouse and a stuffed Princess Leia Minnie Mouse for my girlfriend. "These are for you as a way of apology." "It's not necessary, was just a misunderstanding," I said, but she insisted, so we got some pretty cool free souvenirs. Thanks, angry French lady. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.